What is up, every pony? Today we're taking a look at the mod we all know and love called ZBlock, because there is a lot of new stuff and some of it doesn't make sense unless I explain it to you. So we're gonna go over everything. First of all, we have the ammo rack and the blow ammo rack, and also something for every single thing added, almost everything added. You can hold shift and it will tell you things about it. But the ammo rack, if you play tank castle, there has to be one of these in the turret of your tank. When it's hit, it will burst into fire and then eventually explode at some point and throw some debris and stuff around. As for the blowout ammo rack, basically this will allow you to survive one hit. The ammo will cook off, but if it gets hit a second time, then it will actually kill you. If you just have it like this, then it will explode like a normal ammo rack. In order for it to cook off correctly and not kill you, there are some conditions that have to be met. Specifically, there has to be a solid block in front of it to contain the blast, and there has to be either a copycat panel or a copycat flat pane above it, and that will act as the blowout panel itself. And in this case, you'll see it actually shoots out a jet of flame, and then afterwards, when it's done, it will turn into a normal ammo rack. And if this gets hit again, then obviously you are actually dead. Pay attention because the solid block has to be in front of this face of the ammo rack. It depends on the direction you place it facing, so be careful of that. And then also for the normal ammo rack, you can right click it with a wrench and it will change the style. So we have the normal AP medium cannon, we have some solid shot big cannon shells, we have big cannon charges, we have an auto cannon kind of ammo container here, and then the one that's flipped for the other side. And that is it for the ammo racks. Next we have smokes, which I'll go over really quickly because these have been a thing for a while. You can wrench them to change the style. You can redstone, they throw a smoke grenade, and it gives you smoke. That's pretty simple. Next we have 4 active protection systems. Namely, we have Store 1, we have Trophy, Iron Fist, and then we have Arena M. To help me demonstrate, we have our good friend the Sheridan. Basically, the first one, Store 1, this is a soft kill active protection system, as it says in the description. There's a bunch of other info there too. But basically, how this works, as it also tells you, is it emits a very bright IR light, and this blinds the guidance systems of certain missiles, and it causes them to miss and fly in some random direction. So you need to point this at the incoming missile, and if you do so, then the missile should change direction and fly away and not hit you. Just keep in mind the field of view is pretty small, so if we just angle this a little bit here, then it will either not stop the missile or stop it really late, like this one's just gonna hit. Next we have these 3, which work basically the same. These are hard kill systems, meaning they physically destroy or disrupt the missile in some way to where it cannot harm you anymore. So we have Trophy here, and you will see that it physically shoots down the missile when it gets close enough. I'm kind of not really happy with the effects on the APS. I'm probably going to change them. I just think they could be definitely a lot better. Particularly Arena M, it's not at all realistic to how it actually looks, and that kind of upsets me a little bit. So if you think they look bad, that's why. I'm going to be fixing it later, eventually. They differ in terms of how many charges they have, as in how many times they can be used, how quickly they can shoot down multiple missiles. So Trophy is very slow in that it only has 1 plate of MEFPs, and then it has to be physically reloaded, which takes like almost 2 seconds. So if you shoot 2 missiles in quick succession, then it can actually get through. Whereas Iron Fist and Arena M, they have all the charges ready. There's 3 here and 2 here, so they have much shorter cooldowns. And they also depend on their maximum kind of field of view or coverage area. All this info can be found over here. And you also notice it tells you the camo. You can take different camo blocks and put them in the... Oh, it doesn't take Gorge, okay. You can take different camo blocks, steel blocks I should say, and it will change the texture of the APS block. And like I said, it shows you all the colors that it will take. And then also if you take a wrench, you can change the offset of the APS. So let's say I want to put the APS on here, but it's kind of floating a little bit. What we can do is just wrench it so that we can change the offset to wherever we want, so it looks a little bit better. And again, same for all of these. And then also for the Arena M, because it's kind of directional, you can flip it by right-clicking with an empty hand. And one more thing, you can refill the chargers by right-clicking it with the corresponding APS block, and it'll refill it. Next, we have some missile and rocket launchers. Let's take a look at all of these. First up, we have the Hydra rocket pod. This has 19 centimeter Hydras, and it fires them all at a fairly quick pace. Although, as you can see, it is very inaccurate. Then after it runs out, it will take a second to reload, which you can find here. And then after that, you can fire it again. So these are unguided rockets, but they do have a shape charge, so they're actually not terrible at anti-tank. You just have to be a little bit closer, as you can see, because we did not hit any there. Next, we have the spike missile launcher, which fires, obviously, spikes. These are fire and forget ATGMs, so you fire them, and they guide themselves for you. You don't have to worry about them. And they have kind of a top-down trajectory, although they kind of don't like hitting the tops of tanks at all. This launcher carries 2, and then it has to reload, and then you can fire it again. Also, for all of these, like the APS, you can change the color, and then you also change the offset. Now we have the Sturm and Chrysanthema. The Sturm carries only 1, has a nice animation, and then you can see there the missile. The Sturm has a pretty quick reload, but obviously, again, it's only 1 missile, and it costs a lot of points in the TT free play system. Now we have the Chrysanthema, which is very much similar, but it has obviously 2 missiles, and it has a fairly slow reload, just because, again, it has 2 missiles, so it kind of only makes sense. And the fire rate between missiles is not that fast, 40 RPM, which is like 1.5 seconds between. Now we have the tow missile tube, which is just a single tow missile, obviously, in a tube. Then we have the tow missile launcher, which is kind of one on the Bradley, in that it houses two tows. This one can be fired very quickly, one after the other, but it has a fairly lengthy reload. Now we have a really cool one. This is the Dozer Blade. It comes in a 3-block wide thing here. When you give it redstone, it will fold up and down, as you can see. You can change the direction which it folds by right-clicking with a wrench. So this is the one that you see on a lot of tanks, particularly the Abrams and the M60, I believe. And then when you switch it to reversed, this is the one you see on the Stridsvang 103, and maybe some others that I am forgetting. I think maybe one of the Leopards has one that looks like this. But basically, when it's folded out, so it's almost vertical, when you drive forward, it will carve out a bit of terrain for you. Ultimately, you'll be going slower than this, but you can use this to dig yourself some fortifications. If you do it kind of correctly, slowly enough, at the right angle, you can really do it really cleanly. In like 2 passes, you can have a really nice hold on position. Now we have an interesting one. We have the laser rangefinder. This is a block that obviously range finds for you with the laser. So we have it pointed at our striker there. It works on terrain also, also ships. If we give it a redstone signal, it will output the range. There we go. It will output the range as redstone signals on the left and right. So this is the hundreds place. You multiply this by 100, and then you multiply this by 10, and you add them up. And so 100 plus 10 gives you 110. And then if we do data get on this block, just to see, you'll see range 113. And if we ping there, you can see it is about 110 meters. It adds a little bit of distance just to compensate, because sometimes it hits too short on terrain. And I don't know why, so I just added a little bit of an offset there. Maybe saying, how is this useful if I can't use it based on the direction my cannon is pointing? You know, if my tank is pointed this way, but my cannon is looking here, you know, it's gonna range the freaking sky and not where I want it to. And the answer is that it does actually work on cannons, you know, with cannons. What we can do is if we have a cannon here, we can right-click with a wrench to change the offset of where this is looking for mount. Right now, it's looking at this block for mount. It's now looking at this block for mount. And now it's looking at our mount. So now, if we try to range, it will do nothing. Okay, I fixed it. But anyway, like I was saying, you right-click it to change the offset. So now it's looking 2 blocks plus 2 blocks to X direction, which is this block here, the cannon mount. And now when we range, it will show us the range that the cannon mount is getting, or rather, what this is getting from the cannon mount's angle. So the ranging is still from this position. It just changes the angle. It will not range, you know, from here. And we can see that the output is where is it? 29. And if we check with the scope, which also follows the cannon mount, it's about 29. A few things to keep in mind. Actually, it's like one thing. It will range from like here-ish, like that block. So if you have it too far back and there are actual blocks in the way, then it's going to give you some bullshit range. Probably just 0, I think. So it needs to be a little bit forward in your tank. There could still be a few blocks between. Like this should be fine, yeah. But in terms of actually using it, you can either just look at the range directly and just say, oh, 20 meters. Or my intention is that you cable this and have it feed into a computer. The computer translates the values, and then that gets output like onto a monitor to give you the full range without you having to do the math. Or better yet, just change the pitch of a cannon mount to, you know, do target lead for you. It is fairly accurate, you know, plus minus about 10 blocks, 5 blocks. So at close range, it can be kind of shit, as you've seen. But then again, at this range, like even at this range, you should not be needing a rangefinder. The maximum range is 500, which I may change later. It depends on how people use it, because doing raid casts is laggy, so I wanted to keep that number as low as possible while still being useful. So I may increase it to 750 or 1,000 or so. While right here, we can also take a look at the laser missile advanced warning system. So this is a LWR and a MOZ rolled into one. This will notify you of both laser rangefinders and missiles. So to see if we're here, we have the block, and then we get ranged. Okay, fuck you. If we get ranged by the LRF, then it will give you that nice little warning, which is kind of very fucking annoying, but whatever. Then also, should you get fired on by a missile, it will notify you of that, and also put a little thing around the missile so you can see a bit easier. It has a range of 125 blocks, which is not too bad. It doesn't give you a whole lot of time to react, but if all you're doing is like turning the tank to you know, face your APS or putting out smoke, that's quite a bit of time you have. So there's that. This also has the camo thing and the offset thing. Now we have the bearing mount interface. What this does is it will change the direction of a mount, or sorry, of a bearing to match a mount. So you can do deco like this. This will actually follow the cannon instead of having to, you know, manually change the angle of this with a transmission and stuff. So we have an assemble cannon, we assemble this, we put this block. When it is placed correctly with a clockwork bearing on top and a cannon mount below, it will light up the redstone on the sides. And once it's working, when you change the angle of your cannon, it will also change the angle of the bearing. If you move it too fast, it does wig out. That is something I have to work on, but it will always set the angle correctly eventually. It just takes a second. That's just the quirk of the clockwork bearing. That's not my fault, but there are things I can do to fix it, which I will be doing eventually. Although most people don't turn their mounts this quick either, or that much, so it should be mostly fine. Now we have the sterilizer, ship remover, you know what these do. Floater, ballast, these are heavy, blah blah blah, nobody cares. Allow us to explore the decal bracket. This is intended to replace all of the other decals that were in the mod before. Depending on where you click on the face of the decal bracket block with another decal bracket, it will change the texture. So we start in the bottom left, we have some world flags going up, and then we have some girls and panzer schools. And as always, you can offset it with a wrench. This one is special in that you can offset it by up to a full block in any direction, as opposed to just half a block. This is for situations like this. In order to put the decal on this face, I have to offset it by, what, 13 pixels, which is more than half a block. So I wouldn't be able to normally, but because we can offset it by up to a full block, we can go all the way there. And then, you know, do this. It's too big, but you get the idea. There's only 3 columns of different decals currently. I'm going to be adding more, just as time goes on. I'm also going to make it so you can resize the decal. I think I can do that. That would be very useful. Because especially things like the flags are sometimes very big, and you want them smaller. Same goes for just adding a lot of other variations of stuff, like adding different APS and more missiles probably. But that's going to do it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you found it informative, and I will catch you next one.